Well, hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. And I do thank all of you for watching, and I want to give a big shout out to all my subscribers, over 120 subs now. Thank you to each and every one of you. And just wanted to kind of give you a quick update here. We're going to have to stand down for a few days, as you're probably aware, or you will be aware by the time this gets posted to YouTube. We have an Arctic blast heading our way, and it is Wednesday night, and the forecast for Friday morning is 7 degrees. And no, you did not hear that wrong. 7. I said 7. And it is going to be cold. And fortunately, though, it will warm up fairly quickly. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be back up in the 60s, and I'll be able to get back out here and start doing all the fiberglass work and the epoxy work that needs to be done. We talked about that a little bit in that last video. How I need to come in here and lay thickened epoxy beads in all these corners. In addition to all that, I'm also going to lay some fiberglass tape in all those corners right there. And specifically, I'm talking about where the bottom of the boat meets the side of the boat. This on the inside of this corner right here, and that's just to give it a little bit of extra strength, a little bit more peace of mind. Let me get the camera pointed down in there. The lighting's not real good, but yeah, I'm gonna lay some fiberglass tape in all these corners, fore to aft, both sides, and in addition to those thickened epoxy beads. And then once all that's done, of course, I've got to come in here and lay in some resin where you see bare wood right there. I need to lay in a couple of layers of resin just to give that a little bit of extra protection from moisture and water, just to kind of help waterproof it. So once the cold front passes through, like I said, we've got to hunker down for a few days and just wait for that to pass. But once that passes through, then we'll be ready to get out here and get to work. All right, folks, we'll see you then. And that's what I was talking about. It's about 17 degrees right now. I think the wind chill's down in single digits. And the wind is about 30 miles an hour. And I'm standing in my garage. I ain't going out there. All right, like I said, we'll get back to work on this when all that blows through. See you later. Okay, folks, I'm back, and I hope all of you had a very Merry Christmas. And I can't believe I just said that. It sounded kind of corny the way that come out. But anyway, I do hope you all had a nice Christmas, and I wish you all just blessings in the new year to come, 2023. And so I'm getting ready to get back to work on the boat here. I had to take a little bit of a break on account of the weather. Right before the Christmas holiday, as most of you know, we had an Arctic front come through, and it got down into single digit temperatures with like -4, -5 wind chills. And so I just shut it down out here for a while. And then of course, you know, it did warm back up within a few days, but I had a lot of work I had to do to this truck right here. I had to replace a catalytic converter on the driver's side, along with both of the oxygen sensors. And then while I was under there one day looking at some other things, I noticed that my carrier bearing had disintegrated. That's the center bearing on the drive shaft. And so I almost ended up leaving the drive shaft out on the freeway, but we caught it in time. Yeah, there's that cat right there. But anyway, I'm getting ready to get back to work on the boat. And one of the first things that I need to do is I need to get in here with my die grinder and sanding wheel, sanding drum, and just start sanding all of these surfaces smooth up here at the bow. And let me get in here where there's not so much glare from the sunlight. when I applied this thickened epoxy, of course, it left a lot of sharp edges, a lot of rough edges, and so I need to come in here and sand all this smooth, because what I need to do is I need to, of course, I need to build up these corners with more epoxy, and a little bit more right in here, and of course I need to build these corners up with epoxy also. But what I need to do is I need to come in here and glass over all of this, and that's just to give this area right here a little bit more strength. And I'm going to glass this compartment. Let me pull back, and I'm going to glass this area, and the same over there on that side. Now I'm not going to do fiberglass all over the ribs and the bottom panels and stringers and all. I mean, I see, some folks do that, but I just don't think that's necessary here. This is a much smaller boat. Maybe if this was an 18-foot boat, I might consider that, but I think for the size of this boat, I just don't think fiberglassing everything you see right there is necessary. But I will, like I mentioned, I will coat that with epoxy just to make it waterproof. So I'll get started on this here shortly. I'll record that, and of course I'll speed it up, and we'll just take you through that whole process right there. So I'll be right back when I get ready to get started on that. But one thing I did forget to mention in that last little clip there, I found a good way to use all of this leftover fiberglass cloth right here, and that is actually what I'm going to use to glass these areas right here. It's just a good use for all my scrap pieces, because we're not really concerned with how that's going to look when the resin cures and when that all sets up. So that's a perfect place to use all these little scrap pieces right here that I saved. So like I said, I'll be back here momentarily when I get ready to start all this. Okay, that's just a little bit better example of what I was talking about right there. That epoxy, it just leaves a rough surface when it cures. Plus, when this boat was upside down, I was trying to lay all this in while sitting on the ground and working over my head, so it was just not the ideal position to be in when trying to apply epoxy. And so I'm just going to come in here, sand all this out, and get it nice and smooth. Like I said, get it ready for fiberglass. All right, here we go. Okay, it's smoother than it was. It still needs a lot more work. I'm going to have to come back in here and actually build this up with a little bit more epoxy, kind of a void right there. And like I said, I just want to get all this smooth enough, no sharp corners, so the fiberglass will lay in there. All right, we'll just, oh, there we go. I lost it there for a second. Bright sunlight. Yeah, sun was in my eyes, that's my excuse. But anyway, yeah, I sound kind of funny. I got my mask on, and so I'll just keep working on that until I get it to where it's smooth enough for the fiberglass. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so you kind of get the general idea what I'm trying to do there. Let me get that mask off. There we go. And so you kind of get the general idea of what it is I'm trying to do right here. I'm trying to just get all the sharp edges down, all the high spots sanded down. I will have to come in here, like I said, and build this up a little bit with some epoxy, probably right here also, just so we can get some nice smooth transitions so we don't have any air bubbles underneath that fiberglass. So I'll just continue on with that process. I do have some epoxy work to do right here before I lay in the glass. I got to get these corners built up. So just slow and steady wins the race. All right, folks, I'll be back. Okay, so these two bays are pretty much done. I've got a couple of little areas, like I pointed out a while ago, where I've got to come back and fill them in with some epoxy because they're a little bit low. A couple of voids there, so we'll get that taken care of a little bit later. Tomorrow I will get out here and tackle those two bays. All right, see you then. Okay, folks, I'm back, and that did turn into a bunch of tedious hand sanding, and I just had to get down in here, just little pieces of sandpaper, and I had to work these corners. Same thing like over here. You know, you heard me say before, got to round those corners over so that the fiberglass will lay down. Over here, pretty much the same thing. I just could not get in here really with any power tool, so I had to come in here and just sand all this out by hand. And I am going to build this up. Let me see if I can get the camera in there. I am going to build this up right where my fingers are. I'm going to build up a layer of epoxy right here so that we have one nice, here we go, one nice smooth transition right here. And it's actually going to kind of blend in with these little tabs, and so I'm going to get that done in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video right there. Like I said, it's kind of a little bit tedious, and I know you probably don't want to see me in there just sanding for hours on end by hand. So that's it. We will pick this up in the next video. Hopefully I'll be laying fiberglass in on the inside of the bow right there, and when we do, well, you know, I'll just bring you along for the ride. So folks, I do want to say God bless each and every one of you. Thank you all for watching, and have a blessed day, and more important, have a blessed year in 2023, and we'll see you here in the next video.